completely different.
Whoa! Happy Hot Topic!
First at 5, the mayor of St. Pete is pushing back on the belief that the stadium deal between the city, the county, and the Rays is on its last legs following Hurricane Milton. A Pinellas County Commission vote to approve bonds for the new stadium is still scheduled for tomorrow. Over the last few weeks, uncertainty has grown as bills to repair Tropicana Field and Pinellas County beaches have come into focus. But tonight, Mayor Ken Welch and even a Pinellas commissioner who voted no on the initial deal see reasons for optimism.
It's so funny. Like, I know I'm an outsider and this is a worldwide podcast, but like I live in Tampa Bay and I'm able to see things more clearly because I'm not from here. And it's like all this effort is going into a mediocre brand. When there's many things like infrastructure and other things that could be fixed.
Fox 13's Evan Axelbank is in the newsroom with the latest for us. Evan, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, Haley, the problem is that the money Pinellas County needs to use for the stadium is from the same pot of money that is needed for beach renourishment.
Yeah, the beach is probably more important than an average, barely 500 record baseball team that doesn't invest in its players. Investing in the natural environment and the beaches and the things that really bring people to St. Pete, not a baseball team.
After 2 storms hit. Although right now it does not appear there are enough yes votes on the Pinellas Commission to approve the $312 million in bonds by tomorrow.
It's a lot of money. That's 30% of $1 billion for the Tampa Bay Rays. Oh my goodness. It just felt like everything was resolved before the hurricane. And then the hurricane I know it ruined a lot of people's houses and they lost their house and their car. But it feels like we were finally done hearing about the Rays in this stupid stadium. I thought we finally heard enough. And then, of course, Milton happens. And then this is all we hear about.
That doesn't mean those votes will never be there.
Images of the Trop in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton are...
All right, I'm going to have a little PSA real quick. A little break into the show. So last night I said that when I recorded and talked about the Rays, I said that it didn't even feel like the owner of the Rays was trying to fix the roof by April. But about an hour after I got done saying that and uploading the show and putting the reel up on all social media at Ryan Hoppe Radio, all of a sudden, I look at the pictures that are released on Twitter. It always happens where I'll say something and then it's in past tense, in context. So I'll say something about a celebrity and then an hour later, more news breaks. So then when the new episode is up, it's outdated. And the latest example was the inside of the Trop. Yeah, they should never play another game in there again. It just is trashed. But it feels like no one's tried to clean it up. I feel like if you were to hire a bunch of part-time people to pick things up, maybe, I don't know. It's just like the hurricane happened like 5 weeks ago, going on a month and a half ago. The time has flown and there's still debris inside. It's still that thing I said where it's like, it feels like they're not even trying. It's so strange.
Images of the Trop in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton are not necessarily symbolic of the future of the deal to build the new stadium, at least not yet.
There's been predictions of the demise of this plan for years.
There's Mayor Ken Welch, who cares more about expensive apartments in downtown St. Pete that nobody can live in, rather than making this city that used to be affordable.
No one thought we'd get this far. Let us work through this process.
A few days after Commissioner Chris Latvala said the Rays' temporary move to Tampa infuriated him to the point where he couldn't sign off on a $312.5 million bond payment for their new stadium, Mayor Ken Welch was in his office to smooth things over.
I thought it went well. We don't always agree politically, but he's somebody that I trust.
That's not necessary. You're talking about baseball. I love when everybody goes, I like that person, but we don't agree politically. Chris, nobody cares.
When he says something, I can normally take it to the bank.
The problem is this. Commissioners agreed in July on a 5-2 vote to give $312.5 million in bonds to the Rays.
You could use that money to literally fix St. Pete all over the place. $312 million.
Tourist tax money. But after the storm took out the Trop and all of Pinellas's beaches, a few commissioners, like Latvala, who voted no, see new uses for that money. And 2 of the yes votes are gone, replaced by 2 who are skeptical, meaning a majority have now signaled their opposition. Since the bonds don't technically have to be approved until the end of March, Latvala is advocating to build a new deal that could either generate more revenue to taxpayers or lessen the county's contribution in favor of hurricane recovery.
I want the Rays to stay. I want baseball to stay in Pinellas County, so I would be supporting of a delay.
I'm fascinated to know how much money the Rays make each year for Pinellas County, because opening day is always pretty packed. But like, I think the one amazing part about people not going to Rays games is that the traffic's not that bad. Can you imagine if the Trop was sold out every game? $275 would be no good, because there were times there was like day games during the playoffs in like the early 2020s and late 2010s, and traffic was bad.
Because I believe that there's still time.
While several Pinellas commissioners have signaled fury at the Rays' decision to not play at one of Pinellas County's minor league parks, the mayor of St. Pete doesn't share that view. The Rays can bring in much more money at Steinbrenner Field, revenue that could be critical if they're to sweeten an eventual new deal for taxpayers.
You've got to give us some grace to everyone after Helene and Milton. And again, our priorities... Our priority isn't just this deal. It's the resiliency of our entire community. So we got.
There's no. How do I word this? Resiliency with the community has nothing to do with a baseball team that nobody cares about. That's politician mumbo jumbo.
A lot on our plate. We're doing a lot of things. Stay patient. Have faith.
As far as the Rays go, they have not agreed to interviews with Fox 13 since they announced they were moving to Steinbrenner Field while the city tries to get the Trop fixed.
The Rays are weird, man. I always have to be careful about how I discuss it because last year I pissed off some people in the media by announcing the fact that they were never going to have their own stadium in Tampa, and people got really mad at me. But the thing is, like, it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. It's just the Tampa Bay Rays. The problem with the Rays is there is a good fan base. The, let's say, 90,000 fans they have or something are diehard. They really care. But they think because they care and they go to dive bars that put on the game that everybody cares. They live in a universe that's solo. Nobody cares. The Trop is always voted one of the worst places to play baseball. I went to a funeral for a media member, Dave Wells, who was the play-by-play guy for the Tampa Bay Rays. And it was the most beautiful funeral ever. The Trop is better for funerals than it is for baseball games. And I'm being dead serious when I say this.
Happy hour. Happy hour.